Hi, my name is Tony Orr. For almost 50 years, I was a news voice in Kingston, Ontario. And that was at radio stations CKLC and Fly FM. And then after that with K-Rock up until the pandemic. I met David Patrick Murphy after the release of his album Stoned World in 2022. And that was really a chance meeting. I'd known of Dave since his days back in the 1980s with Jesse and the Gunslingers. It was a rockin' band, I'll tell you. He told me that he was about to start recording a new album with Rob Watkins producing. Rob was a friend of mine. So I jokingly asked if I could film the process to make a documentary. Something relatively new for me, although I'd done lots of stuff with radio documentary. To my surprise, Dave was all over the idea. So starting in October of 2022 and finishing in the spring of 2024, my crew, the film crew, followed every move. I mean, we spent time at Dave's house. We spent time at Rob's house. We spent time at Jerry Clancy's house. But mostly we spent time here at the legendary Summit Sound Recording Studio in Westport, Ontario. What you're about to watch is the making of Crawling Out of Eden. Like I need to start at the end with the last song and not at the beginning. Crawling Out of Eden. It's epic. I mean, every time I listen to it, it feels like a baptism. Where did that idea come from?
Well, I'll tell you, that song, I probably spent more time on that song than I've ever spent on a song in terms of writing it and rewriting it and then rewriting it again. The verses in particular. The chorus I had, and it kind of stayed put, but the verses must have been rewritten 10 times. So it was something I spent a lot of time and effort in.
Can duplicate what he did. I think that, what about fattening it? Doing it again?
Oh, you mean like doing like...
Well, because it's so melodic, you could almost, if he did it relatively close, you could actually pan it, and it'd sound really fat.
Yeah.
There's no black, there's no white. Picking up the pieces, stirring up the fight, chasing down the devil's daughter, drowning her in the holy water. We're chasing down the devil's daughter, drowning her in the holy water. Savior, I always thought you were an angel. Everyone is scarred and bleeding, crawling in and out of Eden.
What was the other song that was it Riverboat? where we didn't
Yeah,
even really
that-
finish rehearsing it.
Right.
And Dave pressed,
I know.
Let's try one.
Yeah.
I think he was working on sounds. And we played it, and then we all came in here. And
I
we
know, it was like,
Well, I don't think we can do that any better.
Rob, tell me about the initial discussions that you and Dave had about making this record, and maybe you can enlighten people about getting me involved in the documentary process.
But now Dave and I go back about 5 years. I got a call from Duncan Holt, who was doing a session, and called me up to work with Dave. And I immediately was just struck by his songwriting.
The three of you sing so well together, considering that you and Dave had not worked with Jerry before. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised at how well this all came together?
Yeah, pleasantly surprised.
Lorelei, your love is fool's gold. 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 I go, Laura, and you can go. What was your starting note? I think.
And Spanish Harlem.
Well, Spanish Harlem was the second part of that
Yes.
that session, because we would do two songs, bed tracks for 2 songs each time. Spanish Harlem was the
Right at the very beginning, if Mike does that, like harmonize with what
Oh,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
It's like right here.
Stay awake nights, dream of that girl.
Just didn't know where.
And I'm glad it happened. I mean, we started sounding like Poco and the Eagles, and we spent days and days on the vocals, but it was pleasurable. I mean, it's a lot of work, but when you're working with someone of that caliber, not only Dave, but Jerry's professionalism. Oh, all right, we can do that. There's a Jerry. I think it's the very last line there. I'm not, the note I'm going to. I just want to see what you're doing. So I go. Eve the sin destroys the vow. First one. Eve the sin destroys the vow. Eve the sin destroys the vow.
F sharp to G sharp. So this. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da,
Yeah.
da,
I think I had that high note in there.
I didn't know if we were doing the oohs. I thought we were just doing the ahs, so.
We're chasing down the devil's daughter, drown her in the holy water. We were looking for a savior. I always thought you were an angel. Everyone is scarred and bleeding, crawling in and out of Eden.
I still hear that note in there. I don't know why. Drives me nuts, but I hear it. Crawling in and out of Eden. Crawling in and out. Crawling in and out of Eden.
That's it.
Crawling in.
He's got a great ear. He's helped me out tremendously vocally. So yeah, it was kind of one of those Crosby, Stills, and Nash moments, you know, where we all sang and kind of looked at each other and went, "This is good."
The first single, Rebel, it's just a flat-out smoking rock, just a hot song.
Yeah, that was, I think, chronologically the first song written for the record. We didn't do it till the second or third session.
So, tell me, is there really a Lorelei?
Well, not really, but there is a Laura.
Okay.
There is a Laura.
Second verse.
Yeah, there's a second verse. It's probably because someone thought the chorus, the verse is twice as long right here.
So right here, maybe?
Maybe here? Yeah, that little.
Yeah, so this goes through twice. And it's right on beat one of the chorus. Here's the second time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent. Nice, Mike. It's good.
Cool.
Great.
He just needs long hair now.
Yeah, I know.
What was your feeling about the songs that Dave brought to the sessions? It was like 2 by 2,
Yeah.
kind of like the Ark.
Yeah. Well, it was a better process for us because we could really nurture the songs that way, 2 by 2.
You and Rob and Jerry, I know you spent a lot of time working on things before the band got together and to do the actual recording. How was that experience?
It was a great experience, and it was a relatively new experience for me, being the songwriter. Normally, I would, in the past, I don't know, 5, 6 albums, you know, I would be the guy. I would come to the studio with the songs and said, these are the songs, this is the way they go. On this project, before it got anywhere near that far, Rob would originally come over to my living room, or I'd go to his place, and we'd play them, and he would give input like, you might need a bridge, or change this line or that line. And then we'd go to Jerry's house, and Jerry'd get a little feel of rhythmically, where is this going, and stuff like that. And so I had all this input from these guys, which was wonderful, because by the time we got to the studio and presented them to the full band, they'd gone through a lot of checks and
Sounds like
balances.
They said, the problem with a lot of people is they hear the melody line and they don't think of a second melody line. They said, when you're singing harmony, you are singing your own part,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
which is a melody, but it's a counter melody.
By yourself.
Okay, let's see if that
Because you're consistently all 4 times singing that line, that da da da.
So the first 2 you're going to do like you just had been doing, and the third one you're going to follow my.
I think that would be
Okay.
kind of neat.
So let's try that.
I think it's fair to say that the star of this record's got to be the harmonies. Rob and Jerry. It's like the Rob and Jerry show. When,
Well, all of your vocals. I mean, I certainly they can be credited where credit is due, but you also did a great job on your vocals as well. So I think the combination of the three is what puts this over the top. Start off, we'll just solo some of them up so that you can hear just the harmonies, and we'll play just the background. So this would be without the rest of the track, and we'll play
Cain and Abel in dispute, you were my forbidden fruit.
Yeah, and we'll add you in so that people can kind of hear with the three vocals singing together there. We'll put you back in there.
Okay.
And play some of that.
You were my only one, my full moon, my rising sun. Cain and Abel in dispute, you were my forbidden
That's what you're hearing, Dave, just that guitar.
It's the only thing that could be distorted. Could be. I thought it was the voice. There was something in there I was hearing. It was.
So what what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan them left and right here. Even if they're similar, it actually might make it sound bigger. So I don't think it'll be a problem.
I think from the first notes of that first recording session, everyone was commenting on the sound of your 12-string guitar. Can you tell us about that? It's a special instrument, isn't it?
I do remember the first session, and everybody did, including me, because it was a guitar I had built for me during the pandemic. I have an affinity for 12-string guitars. This was a 12-string electric guitar that was homemade. It was specifically made with a wide neck, which I like.
Instead of he's going octave up, octave down, is once we get a take of that riff on the outro the way you want it. What if he did a harmony instead of a,
just the line?
Yeah,
just
I just thought he was playing some low notes, and it was like he's already playing. There's three other guitar parts, a bass and a keyboard, and then he's throwing more low notes in there.
It's too muddy if it's down an octave lower.
yeah.
But even when he was playing the high part, he was going like boom.
A couple of the songs, Gypsy Cross and Fool's Gold in particular, seem to be, well, just a little bit hateful. Can you share the villain's identity?
Well, the short answer is no. Eve, and I was kind of really down in the dumps over this this thing having gone south. And I sat there, and I was just so depressed. I thought, like, oh my God, I'm just going to melt out of depression. So then I remember having this thought process, and I can still remember where I was sitting and where the guitar was, then I thought to myself, you've dealt with stuff like this the same way since you were 9 years old. You don't just sit and stew. You grab that goddamn thing with the strings on it and you vent.
Yeah, just hot summer day, having fun. No, it should be on the grass.
Can I get you to come over?
Yeah.
Well, once like at the very beginning, yeah, really like the first 3 lines.
That really, and it was cathartic. The first line of "Feeling Better" was in the chorus. Your love is fool's gold. It ain't worth a dime.
Stone. Okay, I think this is my part. I'm not sure, but stone and alone, calling out your name to my soul. Left without a prayer. I was stoned to the bone with a gypsy cross to bear for you. Evil is as evil does. Evil is as evil does. Evil is as evil does. Evil is as evil does.
Into the booth, and you had this look on your face like you'd seen a ghost or something. You said, "Do you realize there's like 24 tracks of Guitar on Gypsy Cross?" And do you remember what I said?
Probably we can do more or something.
without hesitating, I said, "Great, we're almost halfway."
Right. Gypsy Cross, and so we'll just set up here. So guitar.
What a beast. Oh, here we go. Another day at the office. This is the beautiful Summit Sound. This is where we do everything. Sometimes it's just me and Dave, but today it's full band tracking, so everybody's here today.
Give me a little bit of insight, if you can, into how this all came together.
Well, it started with Rob and I talking, and we talked about we should do a project together, and we talked about doing it at Summit Sound. So we had some holes to fill. Around that time, Mark Slater, my longtime keyboard player from the Gunslinger era, moved to Kingston, so he was a good fit for keyboards. And it was actually Dave from the studio here who filled in the missing pieces. His son Jeremy came in on bass. Jerry Clancy was the drummer, and Mike Kidd on lead guitar.
I don't know
if I'm like a lot louder or not.
Mike seems very loud in the headphones.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
that's...
think just changed my setting to clean it.
You sing your melody. Cain and Abel in dispute. You and my forbidden fruit.
Yes.
You were my only one, my full moon, my rising sun. Cain and Abel in dispute.
Experimenting with songs. Well, hey, what if he does this and somebody else does that? The normal MO for my world was, well, you try it.
Yeah.
Listen to use your ears and
Right.
well, does it sound all right or not? But sometimes to shortcut that, I would, can we do that? Are we, if he plays A minor, is he allowed to stay on F?
You know, I mean, the big thing is when that light goes on and you're recording, you know, I mean, I've been doing it for 40 years. I get uptight. You know, I know it's like, a tape is rolling. I used to always say at certain points, don't say that, just say something else instead. And then...
let's see what I've got here. I think I've got his lead guitar soloed, so we'll just solo it up here.
Sounds good, Mike. He just needs long hair.
At the end of the solo, because the solo ends where we all do those crashes. With his fuzzier tone now, I think he should join in on the crashes. You should play the crashes at the end of the solo.
Okay, Dave's suggesting that you play the crashes at the end of the solo.
The same company.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Like the Dreamfinger guy? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just done long, I think.
I like the size of that better.
That's a little bit bigger, but less pointy. But it has the...
I don't when I drum, it's like this.
Yeah.
Start to do like arpeggios, warm-ups and stuff.
You made me a rich man when you gave your love to me. The richest in the land. So never got over.
The sound of this record is really, really good. I mean, you can't get any better, I don't think. I mean, as far as my ear goes. Can you tell us through the process, the mixing with Dave, and how that went? And it must have been quite a process because we weren't, the crew and I weren't really privy to a lot of those sessions.
Yeah, the mixing sessions, pretty much everybody had thinned out. The band had already done their piece, and you guys had, well, I think you were there for a few of the early ones.
The beginnings, yes.
But, you know, things had thinned out, and it was then there were two. it was Dave and I to bring it to the finish line. Emailing and texting each other about the drums on this album or the drums on that album, and initially I wasn't 100% happy with our drum sound, and we worked tirelessly on the drums, and sending things back and forth, but in the end, the drums sound stunning.
They do. They really do.
And it's a good rock and roll mix. It's guitars and drums.
I was going to say that. It rocks.
We're talking about layers of a lot of tracks. For sure, Eden, Crawling Out of Eden, which is, I guess, your title track. It certainly had, if I recall, I think there was like 130 tracks or something on that song, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's everything in there except the kitchen sink. Yeah. There's church bells.
Yes.
But I think we edited out the kitchen sink.
Right. I was gonna say it was building. Like it started out.
Yeah.
It started out, fairly generic at the beginning, and it was not a lot, not as much going on. But as it went, I know your plan for the song was to build it to this massive, Phil Spector kind of wall of sound at the end.
Everything on a minor chord, but I can fix it. I just want to get out before this.
I just don't want to risk.
Hey Dave, can you just take it from, like verse 3, I guess it would be?
I'm going to take it through, you want halfway through verse 3 or the whole verse 3?
Do the whole verse, just so we get into it, and then into that chorus where we jump in. There was a bass part that was just the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Just extreme close-ups of up the nose.
Yeah, the metal played in my head. I hope it's not reflecting on the lighting.
It's draining the battery though.
Fade out thing, but is it technically wrong or not technically wrong?
It's right. It's
because
just,
if it's technically okay in theory, pun intended, music theory, then I could probably learn to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
because the whole thing is just beautiful. With the
want to hear it again?
I mean, I can shorten the note that I know what you're talking about.
I mean, I know you're going to fade it out. But we're at like 940 basically altogether. So
that'll get radio airplay.
Yeah.
Go to a higher note there or something at the very tail.
You just maybe stop
so
short.
They're just suggesting maybe if you go to a high note at the end of it.
You'll never forget. You stole my heart, Juliet.
Hey, I want to sing under him.
Lorelei. Maybe we should do that with you, like the third one. Lorelei. See, you're going Lorelei. We're just going Lorelei. Just going
Jerry I had admired, again, for years. I'd seen him play in various bands around town. And, but I knew Jerry as a premier drummer, a session player. So when it came time to do vocals, and this goes back to when Dave and I would get together and we'd go over to Jerry's place, for instance, and we were trying to work things out. Naturally, the vocals, I'd say, well, I think we should put harmony in the chorus here, and I'd sing my little bit, and then Jerry, he'd start singing, and it was like,
Two, 1, 2, 3, 4. You made me rich man. You gave your love to me. Never got over. Beautiful brown eyes. You made me a rich man. You took me by the hand. You made me a rich man.
No shots.
Worth a dime.
What do you mean repeat here?
Sorry. What about an intro? Are you hearing everybody in, or do you want me to go through the pattern and then you come in, or?
We were talking, what we were saying before, I was hearing the guitar straight off the bat, like, when you got your 12 strings.
Mike? Oh, just the both of us?
I carried me heavy load. It's a crazy, messed up world.
That's where everybody would have been.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Didn't like how I started either, so I think I'll just go straight.
Do you want to just play again?
No, I just want to fix the climb and my first couple of notes.
Hanging on a moment, hanging on a prayer. You gave my heart a tattoo, then you left me standing there. The sky's getting dark, and the rain has left the clouds. But you're all I can think about in a Mustang headed south. Yeah, you're all I can think about in a Mustang headed south.
And the songs turned out great.
They sure did.
And I mean, Dave is such a prolific writer that, every time I would go, we tried to stay focused on, okay, it's got to be these two songs. I know you just wrote a new one, and it's great, but let's stick to these two, and we'll get to this one later. I just can't say enough about Dave. Like, I feel like he's a brother to me in the time that we spent together, because we share a lot of similar ideas. And anything that he throws out there, I've never said, you're crazy, like that'll never work. And he brings something to the table, and I go, yeah, let's do this. Let's think about it. Let's analyze it if we have to. Let's get the right people involved. That's a big part of it. Jerry and I became fast friends. And we found that we worked really well together as producers, suggesting things to Dave. Dave's got some great ideas. Jerry and I think, just had the ability to sort of narrow things down for Dave and say, this will work better. Why don't we try this? So Dave was very open to those ideas. But great people, and yeah, it just helps working with someone like that. I mean, I'll work with Dave for the next 20 albums if I can, till I'm like 95, but I'll probably be hobbling around a little more. But
well, it's been a long journey, but we got to the end of it.
Yeah.
And in good fashion too. I think the
yeah, the end product has turned out really, really nicely. I mean, I'm proud of it from the studio side of it, and I know you should be proud of it from your, you know, well, songwriting, which I don't know if we've even talked about, but you wrote all these songs and did a great job on the writing and then the performance of them, and a lot of the original ideas for the whole concept of the arrangements were yours. So, I mean, you've been the genius behind the whole thing.
Well, you know, writing the songs is what I do, but you know, I've done it for a long time. I got to give credit to all the people in my orbit for making this record special. This is definitely a record above the other ones I've done. Kudos to all involved.
Well, I really want to thank you very much for allowing me and the crew to be flies on the wall for this really amazing album. It's a great accomplishment for you, and it was such a pleasure to be just a tiny little part of it, because we didn't have anything to do with the actual music, the sound, the songs, or the musicians. We were just there as observers, so it was a really unique experience. Thank you very much.
Well, I think you brought out the best in us, so I think you should take some credit. I think we upped our game because you guys were staring us down and monitoring us all. But I appreciate everything, Tony. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Chasing